what makes Brown special, and tell us about your program. Give us a pitch.
So, what makes Brown special? First of all, it's the people. We're quite a small organization, I think, on a big scale of organizations in the world, but the people are what make it the most special because they're successful, they care about each other, and they all have one thing in common, which they're motivated to win, basically. What I do really is I look for people to not only run stores, but to learn how to run their own business. And so, looking for those sort of people, we do our registered apprenticeship program. We teach them how to operate and eventually own their own store. Um, it's pretty special because along the way, they learn those leadership traits, business skills. We talk about long-term income potential, and you really just have the support of an entire company pushing you to be successful. Yeah. So we have 73 locations, and typically, what I would say our ideal candidate looks like is somebody who really thinks long term. So think about somebody who might want to operate a business but doesn't really know how they're going to get the capital to operate that business or where they would even come up with the inventory. So we really look for people who are looking for that opportunity, which we can provide, but they have to think long term. They also have to really want autonomy. They have to have that mindset of wanting something for themselves and being able to work for something themselves. Um, the person that we have has to have that inner drive. They have to have that self-determination to really be successful for themselves and no one else. And sometimes that's hard to find, but that's exactly who we look for. You know, when you operate your own business, you really have to be accountable to yourself, to your community, to your partners. And so that's a non-negotiable, as somebody who really just has that initiative to be accountable and be successful. It's helpful to have an ideal candidate be competitive, not only with themselves, but with their peers, because that drives business, that drives goals, and that's really something intrinsically that we'd like you to have is that competitive spirit. We really need is somebody who just wakes up ready to crush the day. Those are the kind of people we look for.
Love that for sure. Crushing
Yeah.
days after days is totally awesome. Yes. Um, so speaking of crushing it, so can anybody come in and crush it? Like, are you a typical franchise? You just buy in or explain like how you get into Browns. Like what do we got to do? Like this sounds like an awesome deal. How does somebody do it?
Yes. So the first step is, like I said, we have 73 locations. So if anybody who watches this or listens to this is interested, the first step is getting on our website and looking at our opportunities for this apprenticeship program. So you get on there, you apply, or if you have a local store near you, you can go in and talk to the owner there. But it all starts with having a basic desire to do it, and then you just reach out and kind of follow the steps. So it's a pretty in-depth interview process only because we want the best. This is an elite program. We only bring in people who are really going to fit the profile of what we're looking for. And if all of that goes well, then you get invited to an orientation at our corporate office where you meet the team. It's kind of like the last step of interviews. And
Right
if
on.
it's a yes from there, you begin what I would say is probably a 1 to 3 year journey of learning how to operate a business from A to Z. And so you enter the apprenticeship program and you are doing all on the job training while simultaneously doing some curriculum that's completely relevant to the business ownership, what you're learning. So nothing that's what I would say rocket science, but you have to learn the processes to feel like you're ready to go operate your store.
When they get to the ownership chance, what's that process like?
When you are in the program, we set you up with every resource possible to get ready for the actual ownership. So you will train in 2 locations. So you start out at one location and then you promote and you have the opportunity to move on to the next part of the journey, which is kind of the last leg of the program. When you get the call to run a store and to take over, it's a big deal. You almost sometimes forget everything that you learned in the program because you're just so excited. So when you finally get the store, it's not like, okay, here's the key, good luck, sayonara. We have another a phased program that's called Store Ownership Development Program. So it's kind of like the training program, but it's with a mentor and a couple other people who are by your side wanting to see you be successful and really reiterating, remember we learned this, and this is where it's going to be applicable throughout this process. So it's a layered phase version of ownership where we start you in the beginning. We're pretty much there with you the whole point of the way, and then you just kind of phase out of that as you get comfortable with holding the reins.
What can somebody, kind of expect to make,
Yeah, that's a really relevant question. And, I talk to a lot of different walks of life all the time, schools, colleges, um, various people who really, when you think about running a shoe store, what can that look like? How much can you actually make on a yearly basis? And to be quite honest, our financial opportunity is very lucrative. And what I like to tell people is think of any product that you could sell, right? Doesn't matter if it's tools, shoes, wood, anything, any product you can sell. If you can sell it and you can build relationships with people, that's going to be your legacy throughout the entire time of your career. And that's what drives the dollar signs. The nice thing about Browns is we have three forms of income. So, and then when you hang up your hat at the end, most people will have to wait till they're, 65, 70 years old to retire. With us, you can retire at age 60 and you can reap the benefits of everything that you worked for while earning a passive income when you're done. And it's really it's hard to put into words your earning income potential because we have had such wonderful financial success over the 115 years we've been in business, and we're proud of that. But it has grown exponentially over the last 5 to 10 years, and young managers are seeing wonderful incomes. So you can enjoy the fruits of your labor while you're working, while also earning and saving for the end. And so that's one of the biggest perks with Browns is it's pretty outstanding when it comes to the income piece. If you want to be a business owner with Brown Shoe Fit Company, your organizational skills have to be pretty top notch. The cool thing about what we do is if you think about big box stores, they farm a lot of their duties out the door, and we don't have to do that. You get to be your own boss. You get to be your own marketer and advertiser. You get to be your own accountant, and you get to be your own buyer. So those things all require a high level of organization that if it's not your forte, it's probably not the right fit.
be happy, be organized, be likable, and have a work ethic. And from there, Browns will show you the roadmap to retirement. Tell me some of the cool things about being a Brown Shoe Fit owner.
Yeah. So when you first get a store, like I said before, you're not on your own. You have a mentor, you have a group of people within your regional area that are going to be there to help you along the way, whether it comes to buying and operating, really anything in general. Your resources are plentiful. So you're working with people, you have a great team. You also get to build a team. So you get to interview people that you think will fit the ship that you're driving and or steering. And you're getting to choose those people who will help your business be successful. And so that's not something that every organization that you get the opportunity to do. So building a team is a very intricate part of the business. Yeah, and the other part of the resource is, you had asked earlier about are we a franchise or how we operate? We are individually owned, but we also have what I would like to call the homeland or the mothership, which is our corporate team who is there to help every manager along the way. We're probably the biggest resource for all aspects of business success, kind of behind the scenes is what it is. But it's a helpful tool, and so you're not out there on your own just trying to figure it out. You've got a huge team supporting you.